I want you to tell me the very first things you see, or the very first impressions that you have as you begin to understand where you are and what's happening around you.
On the journey here, when I was coming through the tunnel, it felt like the spirits of those children were like a magnet to me, like they just all came and swarmed around me and followed me here. It feels very busy right now, like a sorting, like they're trying to figure out where to go.
And how do they feel
There's
right now? The mood.
like very high energy. It doesn't feel sad. It feels like just when you're around a lot of kids and it's just
Really
like happy
energetic.
chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like they're just trying to figure out where to go. But I see other light forms, and it's like it's not one, there's two or three different, I think there's three different light forms here that are, and the children, it's not like I see their human form. I see their energy, and they're all different colors. They're all just, it's kind of like their energy form still kind of has a human form about it, but not exactly. More energy than human form. And they're all different colors, and they're like pairing up and going with these different light beings, but they're moving on now.
Are you
That was
also one of these light beings, or are you different?
no, I'm in my light body.
Mm-hmm. So you look like the other guides, children's guides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Are some of the children coming with you? Staying with you?
No, no, they've all left. I don't, I don't know why they. It's like when I came through, though, they just all,
Kind of followed you in?
yeah, like a magnet. Like they were just all of a sudden they were all there.
Do you feel drawn to follow them?
No, it feels like they have a different,
Objective.
yeah, a different way that they need to go. They're telling me it's because they're passed over souls.
Mm,
Their energy is completely different from their forms.
mm-hmm. So did they
I don't
pass
know.
away as children or before they were born, or can you tell?
These are the children from the school. Also, I sense, I don't see, but I feel the energy of a few adults.
Mm-hmm.
Their energy feels different than the kids' energy. Their energy feels heavier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know why that is, but the children's energy just felt very natural, just very accepting.
Mm-hmm.
But this adult energy, I can't tell how many. There's a few of them, three,
Mm-hmm.
maybe four. Their energy is heavier, not nearly as accepting as the children's was. Almost like even in their energy form, uh, having a difficult time accepting what happened to them. It didn't seem to bother the children, though.
Do you feel like this is the most recent event we've experienced here on Earth that we heard about in the
Mm.
news?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the one just
In Texas.
south of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that they've moved on, what's left behind? Did you receive any kind of energy feeling, or did you help them transmute anything?
Mm. No, like I said, I'm not real sure why they decided to. They were just there to greet me when I came through the tunnel. It
Uh,
felt good, though. Their
yeah.
energy felt good. I don't know what the deal is with the adults. There's a different light being that came forth to take the. I shouldn't say the adults because I don't know that they're adults because I just see the energy of them. But these there's four of them, and their energy just feels. It doesn't feel as light as all the children.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're adults though, and they're going with this other light being.
Does
Let
that one
me
look different than the others?
ask. No, it looks just the same. The lights. It's interesting because the light of those beings that came forth, and this one too, that has these heavier light energy. I guess I don't want to say adult because I'm not 100% sure they're the adults. It just feels like that to me. But um, we're all glowing very bright. Um, more a white, a golden white. Um, and the light of these four beings is dimmer. It's not as vibrant as the children's energy was.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask them where they're going. They say it's kind of like deprogramming. Um, that's interesting. It's kind of like a deprogramming of sorts. Like the children's energy was very familiar as to where they were,
Mm-hmm.
and these these four are adults that have just passed over, and they had a more difficult time with it, with the transition. So they're not necessarily going anywhere um, bad. It's just different. Like they need more care, kind of like more instruction.
I understand.
Like their energy needs to be healed in a way.
Yeah. It's like they brought baggage with them where the kids
Kinda.
didn't. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would this be like sort of bringing the baggage of the energy of how they passed, or just their whole life programming that needs to be deprogrammed?
Mm, both.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a guide here with me now, and they're telling me like where they're going is like some of us while we're here on Earth know we have to do shadow work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the you deal with energetic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it's quite obvious that not everyone knows how to do that. And so if you haven't dealt with your basically the shadow work, if you haven't done your shadow work, if you haven't done the work on yourself, you have to deal with that when you pass over.
It's like summer school.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, if you don't take care of your homework while you're here, you got to do it when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't carry the stuff that you pick up. You can't carry it with you. That I have a question then.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we carry stuff from past lives?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Do things get loaded back on when we're coming in?
I'm asking. Okay. We are. Okay. We're coming to a stage. I was going to say it like they said it. We're coming to a stage in our evolution where many of us, this is the last life here. This is the culmination of everything that um, they're going very fast. We have to work out all of our stuff, even from the past lives. It's like it's all coming to a head now. And that's a lot of the reason we're seeing some of the things that we're seeing take place. And in such a big way.
So the idea of a harvest or a graduation might be sort of apt. A graduation of all of our previous lives at this very moment.
Yes.
And that kind of brings in the summer school analogy. If you didn't quite integrate all of those lives within this life, it will be done after death. So it
Yes.
takes a load off that we need to convince everybody around us or wake everybody up to, because they'll do it on one side or the other. Is that true?
Right. Yes. Yes. It's our life here would be easier if we would take care of it here. But if there's people that just won't, they'll take care of it eventually. You can't just keep carrying this stuff. It's like school's out for summer, right? So when we're done with this life, when we shed this form, everything's going to be completed. I don't understand though, so we won't, there's no more reincarnation. Okay. We won't reincarnate here. Where this place is coming to an end. This but we are shifting. Okay, so we are. Okay, so they're saying like, I don't ever get numbers, and it makes me real uncomfortable too. They're telling me that 90% of people will be shifting to a higher density, a higher dimension.
Is that like moving to a whole new university? Like we finish this school and you move to something completely different?
Yeah, that's why all the baggage is dealt with. Baggage claim. Like, check your baggage. That's what they're telling me. Check your baggage. So I want to know what happens to that 10% that don't go. Okay, they said recycled. I don't know what that means. So
Was it
so then there's like 10% that still get reincarnated. I don't think it's here though. What they're showing me is basically, I can't tell. I don't know when this is, but like the future of this existence is ending. Like this is the end of this cycle. So that those few that don't shift,
enter the cycle again or recycle, right?
right, right, but someplace else, not here.
Mm-hmm. But a same level, same university type level, like 3D or.
Almost, yeah, like they have to start over. Yeah, so I didn't really um, understand the whole fifth dimension density, whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really understand all that, but the 5D thing, but that's what they're showing me. So apparently there's truth to it because they said there's about 90% of us, of the population, that will be shifting. We will be. And it seems like I want to ask about this, about our Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They said a cleansing. There's a cleansing. Oh, wow.
Can we look at the main objective of this universe on Earth that we're in right now, this that's coming to an end? What was the main objective we were to learn at this level, at this density, at this universal level?
Love, acceptance of one another.
Mm-hmm. Will they tell you what the
And
next university is about?
let me see. Mm. It looks like we're serving one another, like truly serving one another. Like so they're showing me images of like when Mary poured the perfume on Christ's feet, on Yeshua's feet, and was anointing his feet and the cleansing of the feet, and they're showing me like caring for one another. It looks like we incorporate more that caring and loving of one another. Like we truly live in that.
So it's almost like the lessons we learned to love here carry over into the next university, and we live it
Yes,
fully.
yes, fully.
And what are we learning in that while we're living out the love? What's our next lesson that we're learning in that university since love is learned? Can they show you that?
We have to learn servitude. That's all they keep telling us. We have to learn servitude.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do, okay, well, okay. So we may learn to be loving here, but there's still, even of that 90% that's going to shift, they haven't all learned the absolute servitude to others. We don't have that opportunity in this realm, in this space.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the opportunity to be in service to others like we will when we go on to that higher frequency, that higher vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost looks like from there, they're showing me like a ladder of ascension. And basically, we're working our way up to integrating back into source.
Mm-hmm.
But this takes millions of years, and what we would think of as time, it would take like it's a because they're showing me like, okay, the way that a human thinks is that it would take millions of years to do this, but from where my guide is standing, it happens in a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the progression of all souls. And I see us after this. I can't see all of it, but what they're allowing me to see is the next step is complete servitude to others, which is really just looks fantastic. It just like everyone looks like they are happy and freely giving of love and caring for one another. That is the work. Um, it's it's that's why it can't happen here. Captors. Okay, so they said basically we're on a slave planet, and our captors tried to distract us from being able to do the servitude. Okay, so then what is it that sets us free from these captors? There's the liberation coming. I don't know.
And with the what they're showing you now is that in the near future or is it all playing out now? How many years?
I said not near enough for us. For those who have to endure it, it's not near enough. Uh,
So when you say
let me ask.
90%, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let me ask. Um, less than 50 human years. Less than 50 human years. And it is something that happens with the sun. Things that are happening in the solar system. What is this? They're showing me. I'm like zoomed out and they're showing me the solar system. So it's like pay attention to the other planets, then pay attention to the animals on Earth. There's things changing, major things. So wait a minute then. So basically, 90% of humanity goes on. Uh, this thing that happens with the sun only 10% of humans will be left here, and they're the ones that have to. It's like that's kind of harsh. It's like they flunked. That's awfully harsh, but they are left behind to basically deal with like they have to mm, serve here. So their lesson of servitude is different than what those of us that the 90% that move on off planet. We won't be here. We won't be in this dimension anymore.
90% will shift, but out of that 90%, can they tell you how many are alive and how many are dead when they shift? Or are they only talking about the living?
The human form will be left behind. This is a shell.
So for the 10% left behind that do live, will it appear that everyone else passed away for them?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'll say I wouldn't want to be in that 10%, but
And what will it look like for the 90%? Will they realize what's happened? Will they, I mean, as far as what was left behind? Or will they just feel like everything changed and is new?
it's going to be like they showed. That's so interesting. It's like they those of us that have done our shadow work will be like those little children, where our energy's like, we made it, we're free. And then those that didn't, I want to know about how many. They said roughly a third of that 90% are like those children
Mm-hmm.
that have dealt with the shadow, and it's almost like we're just ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then I cannot believe there's 2/3 of those people that will have to go.
Summer school.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
so bad though. At least they made it, right?
Mhm,
And,
mhm.
and all the limits are of this realm anyway. I mean, isn't time an illusion?
Yeah.
It's not like anything's ever really lost. Even if they have to take 1 billion years to redo a whole nother cycle, it's
Mhm,
it's how it's supposed to be, right?
mhm.
We're ready when we're ready. What can we do to get ready now to miss out on summer school?
The shadow work. Do your shadow work. Get uh, forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Um, so I can describe shadow work because I know what that means. But so forgiveness of yourself and others that have wronged you daily. This does not mean that you're going to be without anger or you're going to be without sadness, but it means don't live in those places. Deal with it. Basic. That's what the guide said. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What are we dealing with on just the everyday 3D level um, that we face that we might need a heads up about or need to prepare for? Is there anything just in our normal lives we can do to prepare for this upcoming year or two?
mm, mm. So stay grounded. meditation, if you're one that chants mantras or affirmations, uh, um, positive visualization. I don't know what that is. That's what he said. Uh, Loving those around you, caring for yourself. Um, People aren't going to like this one. Learn to let go. Let go of things, and especially when loved ones pass, we have to let them go. We we should be celebrating for them instead of being selfish and wanting them to stay here. We should be. They're showing me like throwing a party as opposed to. They're showing me like a split screen. On one side, it's like your typical funeral. Everyone's crying. It's just really heavy and sad. And on the other side, they're showing me having a party and celebrating that person's life, and even more so that person's
Homegoing.
graduation.
Graduation. I love that.
Their graduation. It should be just like when we celebrate graduations. Of course, there's some sadness because that that person has moved on from us, but it should be a celebration. That's kind of cool. People aren't going to like that one at all.
Is it something we really need to hear right now? Because I've heard an increase in deaths
Yes,
with it.
I think so. There are many that. So he's reminding me the way that Christ said, I go before you to prepare a place for you.
Hmm.
So these loved ones that are passing over,
It's beautiful.
it's like they're going before us to prepare a place for us.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a sadness of them no longer being here with us, but there's the wonderful knowing that where they're going, it's way more beautiful. Yeah. What are you experiencing?
Eileen,
Oh, beautiful.
I did not expect her to be here.
She comes through a lot for me.
I had
She's
no,
very
I had.
active.
Hmm. Good grief, the energy is, and she is bright white,
Yeah, she's powerful.
very bright.
Powerful and free.
she she said the meditations, those meditations that she did, all those meditations that we did together. She said it's even grander there. She's in like a Merkaba. I see her in like a Merkaba in front of me. Wow. She said she's been waiting for this.
It's beautiful.
Wow. Hmm. she's showing me um, back when we do those meditations, I could see all of our energy. And it was like all of our energy bodies were just dancing around with one another. She said that's what it's going to be like when we finally all get there. Wow.
It's powerful. I know she's been assisting from the other side. Does she have anything specifically she wants to tell us?
Keep on keeping on. Just like keep doing what we're doing. Oh, it's coming in so fast. Meditation is very important. Um, and she said she can connect with us when we meditate, when we get in that flow state. That's what when we get in the flow, it's easier for her to tap in with us.
Mm-hmm.
When we get in that quiet place and we've calmed our breathing and we've
Mm-hmm.
come into that heart mind space, she's able to drop in with us and our it's like our energies come together. She's able to reach down and we're able to vib- vibrate our frequency up higher and we're able to come together and she's able to connect with us there and um, in this way she's still teaching. That's what
Mm-hmm.
she said. In this way she's still teaching us, and when we connect like that, she's able to like encode encode a frequency, maybe encode like it's almost like a program, like she's able to like download a new program into us, and it can change our mood and our frequency on a daily basis when she's able to drop in like this. Wow.
And is that part of preparing the place for us on the other side by
Hmm.
helping prepare us for the other side?
When she does that too, she's showing kind of like it's that whole ripple effect. I've seen this before. Um, she's able to encode on us, and it's almost it looks like it's in our energy field, in our aura, and so because that encoding has taken place, it's like then when we go out, um, our energy impacts others even more. Um, she's telling me with some this will cause irritation in ones that aren't ready to accept it because the energy is so high. That frequency is of purer. That's what she said, a more pure, even frequency. It's not chaotic. There's that peace in that frequency. She's like flashing me pictures of like oh, the water crystals when you speak love to them. It's something kind of like that that happens in our energy field. And then when we go out into public and we interact with other people, that energy is able to affect their energy. Some will be turned off by it instantly, others will be drawn to you even more.
It
This
really
is how
depends
we
on.
help
Mm-hmm.
this is part of the servitude. Um, this is part of the servitude that we're doing here. Uh,
We're already
that's
beginning to create space for the servitude.
yes. That's why it's important for us to take care of our forgiveness, our shadow work, our forgiving ourselves, working with those that have wronged us, um, the the things that we have carried into this life from past lives, um, to reprogram that, to learn, to get the lessons that we needed to learn from that, to finally integrate it into our energy, release what needs to be released, keep what we need to keep. That helps our energy be more pure. And that's how that encoding takes place is okay. Wow, this is happening so fast. Okay, so it's almost like she's showing me a timeline. So take care of your shadow work. Take care of your past life stuff. Release any entity attachments that may be attached to you. Do the work that you need to do, and it needs to be a daily practice. She said it's almost like taking a shower. That you have to cleanse this stuff and do this work every day. She said it's not like you have to spend hours doing it, but just like taking a shower, you just sometimes it's a quick shower. Sometimes you want to soak in a bath. It's the same kind of that cleansing, and then as that cleansing takes place, then and she said it's not just her. She said there's many teachers that have gone on before. She's just one of many that come in and encode us with this level of servitude. Wow.
Well, that's powerful. So it's almost like we're shining out this light, and our shadow work is shadowing the light. So we need to, the more we deal with the shadow work, the less it dims our light, and the more it's
Yes.
affecting the people around us, because we're like broadcasting out these frequencies to the collective, right?
Hmm. Yeah, she said it's a lesson as old as time.
Yeah. But now it's more important than ever.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow, she receded. Her energy was so intense.
Yeah.
Whew.
She has a very giddy energy.
Yes. my
Yeah.
my whole body's buzzing at this point. Like
Is
I
your
just
guy,
plugged into something.
right? Is your guide still with you?
Yes.
Is this a
He
guy you're familiar with?
had yeah, it's the same one that comes to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That energy had receded when Eileen came in. My gosh.
That's beautiful. We can all have those experiences. I've heard other people have experiences in meditation with Eileen, just like you just said, so I know it happens. And it can happen for anybody. That's
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah, and like she had said, there's many of them. It's like she said, don't just depend on her.
Mm-hmm.
There are many. Be open to that wants to serve, because they're in servitude too. That's what my guide said. It because they're in servitude too. Um, mm. So those that have passed on, that's their service to us. It's not because we're not all there yet.
They're just already there.
They're all right there, and they're part of their servitude is coming through to us.
That makes sense. So it's almost like maybe that's how we're going to have our servitude in the future, serving lower densities being their guardian angels or something.
Okay, yeah, because he's like the the 3D.
Hmm.
It's not just here on planet Earth.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like a whole dimension with many planets.
Mhm. Yeah, and a dimension is a good way to put that because I see multiple universes
Hmm. But
with
still
many,
within
many
that,
galaxies, but there's, yeah,
it's like
but,
still a 3D element to them, a 3D dimension to each of the universes.
mhm, yeah,
And these aren't copies, these are completely different universes, right?
yes, yes. And it's a dimensional
Hmm.
thing. He said it goes so far beyond what the human mind can comprehend
Hmm.
because of the way that um, space and what we perceive time as works. It's, he said it's not supposed to make sense to the human mind.
Right.
So,
Because we're looking at it from within the limits of our dimension.
mm-hmm,
Makes sense. It's very wild.
mm, yeah, because he's also telling me the spectrum that we hear, the spectrum that we see on all those things are so limited in in the human form. He said there's it's part of the mystery.
I've been noticing gifts turning on for people are becoming stronger, um, even in settings like this with BQH or people's psychic abilities. How much is that going to increase as we move towards over the next, couple dozen years?
Much. And I don't quite understand this, but it does have something to do with what's happening to our planet and to the sun. Um, he said science beyond our knowledge. Okay, so higher realm science, I guess. Uh, but yeah, there's um, hmm, okay. He said diagnosis of psychosis will begin to rise because so many people don't understand what's happening to them and they're not able to accept it. So it's like because of the confinements that we live in, um, is the way that we are, Shane, is not so highly accepted. It's becoming more so, but there are still so many people that think they're going crazy, basically. He, he's just saying the psychosis. Um, so like depression, um, people that have the ability to hear um, beyond. Uh, I think there's a name for that. I want to say schizophrenic, but I don't know if that's right. But
You mean
uh,
people with clairaudient being mistaken as having schizophrenia?
Yes, yes, and people that start seeing things, uh, just all of the clairs that we know to
Mm-hmm.
be real, the extrasensory
Mm-hmm.
abilities that humans have, but they've made it so cliche. So that is starting to change somewhat, and maybe the more that it happens, the more acceptable it'll be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why there's so many that are going to be able to go on, because 90% is a big number.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have thought that 90% of this planet would make it, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. So, but yeah, there's going to be more, and suicide and depression will rise as well because people are going to start feeling isolated. Okay, let me ask this: why? Or society and societal. I don't know. I'm afraid we may have more garbage from the governments. Because he's showing me like a door with a deadbolt on it, like more lockdowns, like they're trying to figure out a way to lock us down again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Can you see into the plans of the government? Because it seems like they're all sort of already becoming unified in a lot of their decision making, at least on some level.
Mm, oh. Okay, so he's showing me like globally. Um, there's a small group that has control of all the governments, basically. Hmm. He showed me like a big corporate building, and like it's got like a web all around the globe. So I take that to understand that these governments are all being controlled by something basically like a corporation. I don't know if it's literally a corporation, but that's what it feels like. Like there's board members around this table. Mm. So it looks like it looks like all these, like there's board members and they're sitting all around a table, and like there's a holographic globe in the middle of the table, and it's like each one of these people, which to me look, they don't look like people. Like I see their energy and it's just like dark energy, and it's like each one of these people has a cord from their energy center to different places on the globe, and it's it's like there's a cage around this globe in the center of the table, but like each one of these people is like, that's mine, I've got that, like a like they've infiltrated that part.
Right.
Okay, so what does this mean? He said it's always darkest right before dawn. I don't like that.
Yeah, but on some level, aren't these people only puppets of an even higher force that's using this force to awaken humanity? Isn't it all working out on some level perfectly?
He's, you said that he showed me like, I don't know what's doing this. I just see hands and puppet strings. So it's like those energies that are at that table, like there's a puppet string attached to each one of their crown,
Mm-hmm.
and then that dark cord coming out of their center attached to the globe. So I don't know what, it's not for us to know
Mm-hmm.
who, just to know that this is happening and we're to be living in our light.
That's interesting. So, could it be their understanding that they're following the dark path of their heart, but in actuality, they're only characters in a play as well?
Soul contracts, but it's some kind of soul contract that they have. It's very sickening feeling though. Their energy is just
Has to be.
sick feeling. Like I'm feeling like in my stomach, just like bleh.
Right.
Mm. Okay, so how do we survive through this? How do we live through this? Keep in our light as much as possible. Put that out of your mind. Don't be
Distracted.
mhm. Prepare yourself. Um, he's saying fasting. Why fasting? Why fasting? Fasting. So it's kind of like in biblical days when they would fast. It's not religious. That's not what fasting was for. Fasting is healing, um, preparing. Okay, so why do we need to prepare by fasting? Because because there may oh there may be a time when we have no choice. So clean out your body, clean and prepare. He's showing me people gardening. He's showing me it kind of looks old though, like like farmers is what he's showing me, like, but like out, not with machines working in the fields. He's showing me like people.
Just home gardens. Right.
Yeah, yeah. But they're showing me on pretty big pieces of property. Um, maybe like, okay, I just heard co-op. Maybe like a co-op. What is that? What does that mean? So if you have the ability to work with others, uh, okay, that's interesting because he's showing me even in apartment buildings, like just people doing even tiny gardening. It looks like they're stacked, like not pots, but like it looks like trays,
Hmm.
is what it looks like with uh, plants growing in them. They're not huge plants. I don't know what it is. It's something green. Uh, I don't know. It looks kind of like herbs to me, but he just said stuff like spinach and lettuces, greens, greens. I don't know. Maybe I need to look up and see what medicinal greens, because it's medicinal greens. I don't know what that is, but I'm seeing that in like apartment buildings and people that live in the city. I'm seeing their yards, um, gardens. So it looks to me like this is something that we can do to prepare. Uh, that's what it looks like.
So it looks like we could have a possible coming famine of some sort. Would it be globally or regionally?
That's what I'm asking. So, okay, so this is partially natural and partially,
Manufactured?
yes, like some, like those people that, okay, because he just showed me the people in the boardroom again. Like they're manufacturing some of this, but some of this is natural because of what's going on with our earth changes in the sun.
Hmm.
So,
You mean like the sun is less yield because of the sun, but also maybe,
mhm,
well, you mentioned doing things locally, so possibly supply chain issues?
yeah. Um, he showed me like there's some areas all around the globe that are in extreme drought, but he's also showing me there are some that have more rain than normal. I want to know if this is because of the sun or if this is them
Man.
geoengineering our weather. Okay. So there's earth changes happening that would happen anyway, but it's almost like there's a tug of war between their weather manipulation and the earth. It's like I'm seeing a tug of war, like I'm seeing a tug of war game between uh, what Earth wants to do naturally and their geoengineering. So it almost it looks like absolute chaos because of this group that's in the boardroom and what's happening a cyclically.
Like a sun cycle or cosmic cycle?
Yes, it's not just the sun though. This is a big cycle. This isn't just
Like a
like
galactic cycle? It's
yes,
like all of the cycles
yes,
sort of aligning,
yes, yeah,
like all the hands on the clock hitting the 12
yep,
o'clock position.
yep,
That's the vision I just saw.
yep.
Um, so when you look at this, does it appear that they're sort of trying to exacerbate whatever the natural thing is and make it worse, or does it seem like there's something naturally occurring that they're just trying to slow down or stop? Because you mentioned a tug of war.
Mm. It's like they're trying to take what's happening naturally and bend it to what they want it to be. And they're having a difficult time doing that, it looks like.
So what's happening naturally? Would that be a good thing or a bad thing or a mixture of both?
Um, so he says not good or bad, it's just the cycle.
Right.
Um, but it happens naturally. Hmm. He said these funny little humans, they can't do anything that they think they can. Uh, he's talking about those that
Trying to
order.
control.
Yeah, like they're trying to control something that they would never be able to control. Um,
That's a good thing.
mhm.
So
In
it's making for a rougher time then, huh?
inconsequential? No, he said it's inconsequential.
Oh,
In
okay.
inconse like it doesn't. Gosh, I wish I would use the
Negligible.
word. Yeah, like it doesn't make any difference what they're
Yeah.
doing because this cycle is going to happen. It doesn't matter what they do. Um, and they may be able to influence things slightly in the moment, but it's not anything that's gonna, these droughts that are happening were gonna happen. The flooding that happens was gonna happen. It's just, it was gonna happen anyway.
Hmm.
They think they've done something and they haven't. There is gonna be a lot of water though.
Globally or regionally?
And so I'm trying to see because it's,
It's like a cleansing, right?
yeah, but hmm, maybe I'm trying too hard. It's like half of the United States, even up into Canada, it looks dry. It's like this curve of just dry, and it's like part of it is just horribly dry, like major drought. And then the other half of North America, because it's not just the States, it's North America, because it even kind of moves down into Mexico some, but it's wetter than normal. It 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 looks like floods. Let me see if I can zoom out some and see what this is. Why on earth am I seeing it even? So there's something going on with the Mississippi River because it's almost like from west of the Mississippi is dry and it gets drier the further west it goes. Even even up into Washington and Oregon, that stuff looks drier than normal. Okay, is this something that's happening soon? My time. This is the changes that are coming.
Caused by the sun that you were talking about?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what about other parts of the world? It's interesting. It looks like Russia's gonna warm up. Not necessarily as hot as what it is here, but the less ice. I see less ice in the northern hemisphere. I see less ice. Uh, what does that mean then? This is part of the the changes. It looks like there's less ice, and it almost looks like there's those driest parts of Africa that aren't as dry as they used to be. I think we have some major Earth changes coming that are going to surprise us. The way that it looks, because it almost it almost looks like the waters are shifting higher in some places, lower in others. Why? What's causing this? It's like
Well, you mentioned it was the sun causing it. Does it do something on the inside of the earth that maybe
yeah,
pushes up?
that's what it looks like. It looks it looks like it looks like it's pushing out in some areas and like not necessarily caving in or maybe there is sinkage. The the crust, it's the land is changing.
Mhm. Some of
Even
it
parts
pushes
under
up,
the ocean. Yeah, yeah.
so it changes the water level. Some of it stays the
Mhm.
same, but of course it becomes lower in comparison with the stuff that raises up. So it
Mhm.
just changes everything, huh?
It is. It's like everything is changing and kind of moving around um at
Does that happen fast, or is it drawn out over time?
over time. It's over time, but um but things get gradually more intense.
There's a certain.
Earthquakes become more intense, the volcanoes.
Mhm. So
So
there's sort of
I
a crescendo of events that precedes something.
yeah, and still he's connecting it back to the sun. Every time he's connecting it, like going back to the sun. It all goes back to the sun.
Hmm.
So, how do I explain this? He showed me like waves in space. I know that doesn't, that sounds crazy, but that's what it looked like. It looked like waves in space that are moving from the inside through the galaxy. It looks like waves. Uh, kind of like kind of like in the ocean, the waves, the way that the waves come in. That's what it looks like. And okay, he just said like tsunami. So tsunami alert for our area in the solar system is kind of what it sounds like. I know that's not a laughing matter, but the way that he said that, think tsunami. So it's like our solar system is about to be bombarded by some kind of galactic style tsunami.
So it's energy then, not water.
Yeah, yeah, it's energy. It's not water. It's
Hmm.
energy. But it looks the same way that it does in the ocean. That's what it looks like to me right now.
Hmm.
Some kind of energy that's coming in.
And that's going to do something to the sun, which in turn will do something to us because everything's connected then.
Yes.
And this is a
Yeah,
30-year event we're talking about. It takes time, or
he said it's already started to enter our solar system, like those waves. He's showing me like the waves on the outside of our solar system, like it, humongous. and like it's on the outside, the very outside of our solar system, and it's starting to come in. And this energy, the way that this energy is coming in, and the way that it interacts with some of the planets, some of these, some of the planets in our solar system are interacting with this energy uh, more so now than what others are. And it's getting closer. It's like it's rippling closer. I don't understand like the why he showed me the tsunami. What is that? What? I don't know. Like the waves are getting okay. He said think of like when the tide comes in.
Hmm.
Okay, so like when the tide comes in, so the water is coming in more and more. I say water, the energy
Hmm.
is is coming in more and more, and it's getting mm, comes up higher and higher onto the beach, and it's getting deeper and deeper. That's what it's like. This energy that's coming in. So
So when the
that's
tide
interesting.
rises right before the tsunami hits, it's
Mm,
like that's where we're at. We're at this point now where we're experiencing these energies already, but we haven't got the full wave hit us yet. But it's at the edge of the solar system. Is that right?
yes,
I got
right.
you.
He's saying watch the other planets.
Okay.
Watch the other planets. And and two, just because whatever this is, it's already, I think there's some of it that's already affecting us.
Hmm. And it's going to be drawn out over a long time. It's not like a really quick, bam, we get hit by the tsunami or.
Yeah, he said it's not like Hollywood.
Okay.
This isn't Hollywood. That's what he says. This isn't Hollywood. This is real life. This is a real deal.
We're on
So,
cosmic divine timing.
yes. And mhm, like shaking his head with the time. He's like, time. It's irrelevant.
Right. So
So,
important to us here, though, huh? Are we
all
almost
right.
there yet?
Mm. He's you said that just as he showed me like the kids in the car asking that. Like just as you said that, that's what he showed me. It's like we're acting like those children that keep saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there
I
yet?"
even feel like that sometimes myself because I can see the build up. And it's going to continue to build up, huh?
hmm hmm And like he's showing me uh, all different aspects. Like mm, so so he's showing me like there's the solar system aspect of it here. He showed me like the people situation with the people going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If it feels like people are going crazy, it's because they are literally like they can't handle uh okay, he said polarity,
Mm-hmm.
hermeticism. He said okay, so think about the polarity, the everything has masculine and feminine, the
Mm-hmm.
polarity, magnetism, that's starting to flip in people. That's why we're seeing a whole lot of the, big push on the transgender thing. It's polarities are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's the pendulum swing. He said that's what it seems like the pendulum. It's like the pendulum is being moved way back. It's about to swing the other way. It's he's showing me that the pendulum just swinging back and forth real hard. Um, like things are just shook up. Mhm.
So it's almost like a lot of the humans coming in now are embodying a lot of the divine feminine and masculine within their one body. But once again, these guys in this web in the corporate building are trying to
Mhm.
bend it a certain way to corrupt it a little bit. Then
Yes,
I
they're
see.
it's getting mixed
That
up.
makes sense. Yeah,
It's all getting
creating more
twisted up.
division rather than more unity. Out of it should be bringing in unity, then shouldn't it? Balancing,
It should be.
right?
That's part of the captors.
Hmm.
The captors. That's part of.
Their manipulation.
Mhm. We won't have to go through this again, though. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. When we get graduated,
Hmm.
we don't have to go through that again. We don't have to go through that. We don't have to come back through this veil
Hmm.
that that's got us captive.
Right.
So I want to know if this is happening on other planets. Absolutely. Okay. Hmm. This is a cosmic kind of thing. We're not alone in this. We're not the only planet that's going through this.
Is it our universe or multiple universes?
Uh, okay, so he's like a dimensional and universal kind of thing.
Hmm.
He's he said that it's more of that our human mind can't comprehend. That he said there's so much to life that we don't understand.
It's constantly just bubbling and going forth and never stop, and we're trying to
Mhm.
put a stationary stamp on
Mhm.
it, so to speak, aren't we?
Right. But we're not the only beings that try to do this. This is a stage of learning,
Hmm.
a state of being and a stage of learning, and all creation goes through this. All creation, which I wish I could show you what I see. It's just like I can't even describe. It's so much. It's like millions of universes, not just planets or galaxies. It's so massive.
This is really simply one rung on the ladder, as you were talking about in the beginning, right?
Hmm. It's so beautiful though. If you ever want to feel small, just go to this place. It's almost like we're not anything more than a speck of sand.
But it's happening everywhere. That's mind blowing.
Hmm.
Just try to wrap your head around that. But things are moving well. Is your guide still with you?
Hmm. Yeah.
Let's while he's here, let's ask why you were shown that childhood memory of riding with your dad.
Because it's one of those memories I'll need to hold on to.
It helps you through. Let's ask about the waterfall in your hands that you envisioned. What does that represent?
My cup runneth over.
Oh, that's beautiful. It really does.
So he showed me where I had my hands. He showed me like my kids' hands underneath and my grandbabies underneath that, and it's just my cup runneth over.
That
Right
is
into them.
beautiful.
We're all filled up.
That's wonderful. Why were you shown that scene from Interstellar, the movie where the books were being interacted with from the other side?
We have to expand our minds. Realize that what they showed in that movie is not so far off. He said, even though it's still Hollywood.
Hollywood will be Hollywood, right?
Oh my gosh, this guy.
Is there anything else your guy can show us moving forward that will help us through this? You mentioned fasting. Can he elaborate on like the length of time? Like, is it intermittent fasting or is it like fasting for a certain amount of days that would be helpful?
He said start off gradual. and work up. Let me, okay, so for each individual, it's going to be different. Some people, for health reasons, should not go more than the 18 hours for intermittent.
Mm-hmm.
For other people, that seems a little intense, but he says for some people, they could go up to 30 days. Um, mm, okay, I should not do that.
Me neither.
He said max that I should ever do is 72 hours max. That my makeup does not need to do more than a maximum of 72 hours and not to do that very often.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. So that's the next thing. Intermittent fasting daily is suggested. He said for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
intermittent fasting. This, okay, this has health benefits. He's showing me like the human body. And like it clears your mind. It does something in the gut because he's showing me the belly.
Mm-hmm.
He's even shown me the blood running through the body. I wonder. So somehow it has something to do with cleansing the blood, I guess. That's what it looks like. Um, but it's got something to do. It's healing for your gut and it's cleansing for your mind. Um, so for longer fasts, he- he's showing me sitting like you're meditating. So you shouldn't do heavy work. If you have a heavy workload, you should not be doing a long-term fast. We need food to sustain work. Um, okay, like a retreat, like a personal retreat is how it's like a very reverent thing, a longer term fast. That's what it looks like. It looks very, because it's Buddha. That's what I see. I see Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like very reverent
Right.
to do a long-term fast. Uh, but that brings much healing to the body. So,
That's very good.
mhm. So
So really, everyone should go within and see what their higher self thinks would
mhm.
be best for them.
Yes.
Very nice. What about other environmental toxins? Is there anything that we should be aware of that will help with anything that we're not aware of?
So he's showing me like to filter water. Okay, like how he's as I see lots of tubes that like the water runs through. So maybe like reverse osmosis, maybe like a reverse osmosis
Mm-hmm.
system, like something okay, uh, because it pulls like it pulls out um metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think this is like literally what's in the water, but what it looks like is like there's a magnet and like um metal is being pulled out of the water as it's going through these filters. So
Mm-hmm.
filtered water,
Mm-hmm.
like sun tea. I don't know, like maybe charging your water, like with the sun, charge the water.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because it's like I see a glass jar, like we used to make sun tea when I was a kid. It looks like that glass jar, but there's no tea in it.
Right. I
It's
see.
like just the water. So
Charging it with the sun.
yeah, something to do with the UV.
Yeah. I've been guided to do that with my bath water. That's interesting. Confirmation for me. So almost like a cleansing it does for the water, huh?
Uh-huh.
The UV.
Uh, restructure.
Oh, the light restructures, organizes the
That's
water molecules.
yeah,
Yeah, I just saw that in my
yes.
head. That's beautiful. So that sounds like vitamin D do us good. Spending time in the sun is good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, spending time in the sun, but um, very little at a time if you're gonna be in the sun for a long time to cover your skin, not with chemicals. He's showing me like not with the like it's just um like he's saying not to use the creams. Don't
Just
don't use
naturally
the
shield yourself with an
yes.
umbrella or a cloth or
Yes.
clothing. I got
Yes.
you. I got you. So it's not so harsh on the skin if you're going to be in it for a long time.
Right.
I got you.
Right.
It's very good. With everyone right now, I was shown there's a lot of distractions and everybody can get their answers from within to find that peace with what's going on in the world. What's a tip for people that have a difficulty going within? They have a difficulty meditating. What's something they can do? I've been shown deep breathing can help, but
Yes, that's what he just showed me. Like the breathing. There's um a yoga name for it. I can't remember. He's showing me though, where you put you close one nostril and breathe in, and then close the other nostril and breathe out, back and forth like that. Uh, rhythmic breathing.
mm-hmm,
Um, that helps to when you do that breathing, it slows the heart rate, and it gives your mind something to focus on.
mm-hmm,
So practice practice the breathing, learn the breathing, and then he's showing me like qigong,
mm-hmm,
even if for people that have a hard time just sitting and like trying to clear their brain, to do a more focused meditation,
mm-hmm,
and the movement will help them focus, give their mind something to focus on, but it's still very calming and very meditative. So it's almost like a dance, is
mm-hmm,
what it kind of reminds me even of, like the hula dancers telling a story with
mm-hmm.
the dance like that. Also, they're showing me like Native Americans. So something like that. I think this is almost tribal. Um, Almost like a so your higher self, when you get to that point where you can connect with your higher self, each individual person would be guided. Um, some will just be, because he's showing me the Buddha again, some will just be in silent meditation. Others are going to be doing more movement meditation. Uh, but it's something that they'll connect to in their hearts. They'll know it. They'll know when they when they slow down
Mm-hmm.
and they practice the breathing for a while and they're able to get in touch with their higher self, they'll know they'll know what's right for them to do.
It might just be put some music on and dance around and raise their
Hmm.
vibrations, or
Hmm.
just follow their heart in that moment. It's beautiful.
Even laughter,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, even laughter. Mhm. Childlike is what he's showing me, like children holding hands, dancing around in a circle, like just being free
Mm-hmm.
and being childlike.
And happy,
Hmm.
joyous. Let's see if there's any other tips or guidance from your guide for you or the collective. Any information?
Eating as clean as possible, no processed stuff. He's showing me like a package of Twinkies and threw it out and pulled over a plate of uh, salmon and steak and all these gorgeous green veggies. So
Mm-hmm.
eat real, eat
Mm-hmm.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get s- don't get so stuck on don't get so stuck on being vegan or vegetarian or carnivore. Don't get so stuck on a label.
Mm-hmm.
Feed your body what your body wants. Ask your body. So he's linking back to the breathing. Hmm. It seems like this is all full circle. So with the breathing, you get more in tune with your body. You can feed your body what your body needs to be fed at that time. Because he's showing me almost seasonal, almost. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but almost um, like our bodies go through seasons, and there's times that we may want more meat or more veggies, or we just want to eat really light. Sometimes when we need more substantial, but getting in touch with your body. Feed your body what your body needs. he
That's it. You listen to your body's
said
crave.
he said it. That's not ho-hos and Oreos and Coke. That's great. That's not ho-hos, Oreos, and Coke. Uh, okay, yeah. So the sugar's poison, basically, is what he's showing me. The sugar that's part of that. Hmm, that's kind of scary. So he showed me that boardroom again and all those, um, I guess people have big mounds of sugar all over the place. I wonder if
Is there a safe sugar?
is there a safe sugar?
Yeah. Or
Is
should
there a
sugar just be avoided
safe
altogether?
sugar? It's processed.
Uh, So natural
Um,
sugars from fruit is fine, but
yeah, little bit. He showed me like in like almost a measuring cup, like a little bit,
right.
not a lot, little bit. Little bit's okay. Okay, it's almost like the way that people usually treat candy as a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Candy shouldn't be at all because it's that's like a
Big
like a
concentration of sugar.
container. Yes, but he's showing me like it's in a jar and it's got like the poison symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, replace what you would be eating as a treat. Candy, replace that with your fruit.
Mm-hmm.
but your meats and veggies should be more.
And then like bread should be avoided. So
Yeah,
it's got a lot of sugar in it, right?
that's what he was showing me. It's it's like all these things in packages, and it's got like a crossword, like not at all.
Hmm.
None of the processed stuff. Like the So what if you make pasta homemade? It feels all that packaged stuff is no good.
So the problem comes in the processing. Not say pure cane sugar might be okay then, right?
Yes, because yes, well you said that, and
Yeah,
I'm seeing like the cane fields.
right. But as soon as
The
they
problem
manufacture it,
mhm,
they process
when it
it.
goes through the, I want to know, it has something to do with the heat and how it changes the molecular structure.
Hmm.
Good grief. Something to do with the when it's processors, it has something to do with the way that it changes it. Uh, Almost like a, so he's showing me like those molecules don't jive with our DNA.
Oh, okay. It's almost been crystallized into a disharmonious state, if you will, I guess.
Hmm.
The little crystals of sugar.
Yeah, but he's showing me that with like all the processed stuff.
Hmm.
It's it's interesting. Okay,
Not
so
good.
like it's yeah, like it like for a while the body tolerates it, but at the as the amount increases, the body becomes less and less able to tolerate it. Uh, it doesn't jive with the DNA. It doesn't. It just doesn't work. Like there's a way to nourish the body, even to into our DNA, and the processed stuff is doesn't work. It's like it doesn't integrate with it. The natural things just flow like it like our bodies know what to do with that. The processed stuff doesn't work with it.
That makes sense. And a lot of people take on a lot of sugar, don't they? From so many
Mm.
different sources.
He said addiction. Um, all the processed stuff is an addiction. Um, mm,
How can people best break that addiction to sugars? Is it just reducing it a little bit over time, or is there another way?
mm, mm. Okay, so he said, would you tell a cocaine addict they could do just a little bit at a time?
No.
That's what he showed me. That's what he showed me. It's so no,
So just
no.
stop it and find some sort of support system. Is there a spiritual support
He-
system?
He's going back to the breathing. When a meth head is using meth, they stop eating. For the most part, they don't eat. And that's part of what deteriorates the body. It's not just the drugs, it's the malnutrition at the same time. It's almost like he's showing me that sugar is doing the same thing. It's malnourishing to the body. So when you're on drugs, some people can stop cold turkey and just say, I've had enough and get off of it. Others have to have a 12-step program. Others have to put themselves into a rehab center. Others find a church family. There's different avenues to getting clean. Sugar addiction is the same way. When when we start seeing it as an actual honest to God addiction, it will be treated the same way as any other drug addiction is treated. This is something we can look forward to.
It's one of those the truth shall set you free moments, I guess, when you realize that it actually is poison and it's not nourishing you.
This is this is linked back to those controllers and the pharmaceuticals and diabetes. So the sugar addiction, okay, because they're showing me like the fentanyl, all the drugs are linked to these people. This this is all linked back to the corporation people.
Mm-hmm.
The deal with the sugar is that they've even taken our children. Like it's so acceptable, but it's every bit as bad as your bad drugs, methamphetamines, cocaine, the fentanyl, all these um, heroin, all these things that steal a person. Sugar does the same thing. There are some people that can tolerate small amounts, but the mass it's like the majority of people can't handle it. He's showing me those packages too. It's like somehow there's sugar in all those packages. There's sugar in all the packages.
Sugar in which packages?
The processed foods.
Oh, that's the main poison in all of them, so to speak.
Yes. Hmm.
I gotcha. Wow. So what can we use to fill that space? I know, like if you're just mentioning methamphetamine, you can begin to eat normally, and that will, since the methamphetamine sort of makes you not feel hungry anymore, it sort of satisfies that hunger, right? And the sugar's doing the same thing. You said it's sort of satisfying our hunger in an artificial way instead of a
Hmm.
nourishing way.
Hmm.
Is there something we can do to fill that void um, with good food, uh, to help with that process? Or it should be treated like an addiction? Like you said, it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. And more than anything, it's just take it out of the diet. Replace. Okay, let me see. Let me see. So, in the morning, as opposed to having a Pop Tart or a donut or waffles or whatever sugar cereal, replace it with eggs, proteins, eggs, bacon, sausage. Like eat healthy, like they used to. Eat healthy. Mhm. Uh, and the snacking, the snacking is, mm, hang on. Okay, so it's like the snacking is an emotional thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's saying. So the snacking tends to be linked more to emotional than to actual hunger. So that's part of the shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And so we come back to shadow work. That's part of the shadow work is addressing emotional. That snacking has to do with something that's going on with the emotions.
That makes sense. Just like people use drugs to deal with the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of similarities there. So we feel down and want to eat a donut or a piece of cake and feel better.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So just really being aware of why we're eating, why we're craving something, and retraining ourselves to actually do the shadow work and deal with it.
He says this is where the intermittent fasting comes in to help cleanse the body.
Mm.
There's programs that you can find that it's like that teach healthy fasting. And of course, drinking lots of water, cleanse the system out.
And cleansing the water with UV light was one thing, and I know
Mm,
putting intentions into the water can be powerful.
mm,
Perhaps maybe to help cleanse out the sugars in the body or replace it or something. Is there anything
mm.
intentionally we can do to help?
The programming, speaking affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you speak into the water, speak into yourself.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah, because we're like 2/3 water, aren't we? So it's beautiful.
He said, love one another.
Love one another.
Mhm.